For over a century, ancient Sumerian texts were misread, assumed to be myth, ritual, or poetry. But now, AI has translated them with unprecedented accuracy, and what it uncovered is chilling. These tablets speak not just of gods and creation, but of cycles of collapse, forbidden technologies, and warnings meant for the future. What once seemed symbolic now reads like historical memory, and the message they left behind is clear. If we repeat their mistakes, the end won't be mythical, it will be real. When AI finally read the Sumerians clearly. For more than a century, the ancient writings of the Sumerians, etched into clay over 4,000 years ago, have both fascinated and confused scholars. Many translations came slowly, piece by piece, often relying on fragmentary knowledge of Akkadian and Sumerian cuneiform. But now, the language barrier has been broken in a way once thought impossible. In 2025, a team of computational linguists and archaeologists employed neural machine learning models, the same kind used in real-time voice translation, to re-examine thousands of cuneiform tablets. The results weren't just faster, they were sharper, more contextual, and shockingly different. The AI wasn't guessing meanings word by word. It learned idioms, cultural context, and patterned phrasing. It compared vocabulary across vast corpora of tablets to reconstruct accurate translations of terms once dismissed as poetic metaphors or religious cliches. And in doing so, it uncovered something chilling. Many tablets, previously labeled mythological, are now revealed as historical records, not just stories, but warnings. These texts speak of repeating disasters, planetary changes, and civilizational collapse. They don't read like allegory, they read like testimony. And the further researchers dug, the clearer it became. The Sumerians weren't merely chronicling their world, they were trying to warn the future. One translator put it simply, "This isn't myth, it's memory." And what that memory reveals next is even more disturbing, because the Sumerians didn't believe in progress. They believed in cycles, and every cycle ended in collapse. The Sumerian view of history as repeating collapse. Unlike modern thinking, where history is viewed as progress, a steady climb from past to future, the Sumerians believed the world moved in cycles, not gentle turns, but violent resets. Each golden age was followed by collapse. Every rise ended in ruin. With AI-assisted translation, we now see how deeply this idea was woven into their culture. Tablets spanning over 1,000 years describe eerily similar events: famines, wars, sky changes, mass migrations. But they didn't record these as isolated events. They were patterns, recurrences, not accidents. Scribes wrote of how humans flourish, become arrogant, disrupt the balance, and are then undone by drought, flood, fire, or plague. This wasn't myth. It was treated like astronomy, predictable, measurable, inevitable. One tablet reads, "When the kings forget the stars, the rivers will forget their course." Modern scholars now recognize these weren't religious warnings. They were encoded forecasts, built from centuries of observation. The Sumerians believed collapse was built into the structure of civilization, a natural correction when humans broke their cosmic role. This worldview wasn't fatalistic, it was instructive. They wrote these warnings for the future, to help the next cycle survive what the last one could not. And what they witnessed in the skies may explain why their warnings came with such urgency. Skies on fire, ancient descriptions of global catastrophe. Across hundreds of tablets, the Sumerians described the sky not as a static canvas, but as a realm of danger, sometimes even horror. Red skies, suns dimming at midday, storms that moved unnaturally, rivers reversing, entire constellations blinking out. For centuries, scholars dismissed these passages as poetic metaphor, part of a mythic worldview filled with gods and omens. But with the precision of AI-based linguistic analysis, the tone has changed. These weren't metaphors, they were records. The translated texts consistently describe a set of environmental anomalies: skies darkening for days, air turning acidic, rains of fire, and what appears to be massive electromagnetic disruption. Some phrases, once translated loosely as divine wrath, now appear to describe phenomena like solar flares, atmospheric collapse, or meteor impacts. Researchers compared these passages with data from ice cores, tree rings, and sediment layers, and found matches. Elevated levels of dust, sudden climate cooling, and signs of extreme solar radiation events occurred during the periods the tablets reference. One particularly disturbing tablet reads, "The sun wept blood, the stars fled their homes, the people lay beneath fire that gave no warmth." It's not symbolic, it's cataclysmic memory. The Sumerians weren't only spiritual, they were scientific observers of the sky. And if their records are accurate, they may have lived through a planetary-scale disaster. The next section confirms they didn't just imagine collapse, they experienced one that nearly erased them. The 4,200-year event when civilization fell. Around 2000 to 200 BCE, something happened that shattered not just one city, but an entire civilization. Known today as the 4.2 kilo-year event, this was a period of global climate disruption that lasted for over a century. And it's not just theory, geological records confirm it. In the heart of Mesopotamia, rivers shrank, rainfall ceased, and once rich farmlands turned to dust. Cities emptied, trade collapsed, entire populations migrated in desperation. The once mighty Akkadian Empire, the world's first true empire, fell almost overnight. The Sumerian tablets describe this collapse in stark detail. Crops refused to grow. Rivers forgot their banks. The gods withdrew their breath from the land. Once dismissed as religious lamentation, these now read like first-hand accounts of ecological devastation. Dust layers across the Middle East, India, and even parts of China match this time frame. The drought wasn't local, it was global. And yet, the Sumerians didn't describe it as random. They believed it was part of the Great Cycle, a divine correction for human overreach. One chilling line, repeated across multiple tablets, now strikes with new meaning. The order was broken. The reset began. This wasn't just history, it was a pattern. And if they were right, it wasn't the last. The disturbing creation story of humanity. Most ancient creation stories speak of divine intention, cosmic birth, or life rising from the earth through natural mystery. The Sumerians, however, told a very different tale, one now revealed more clearly than ever, thanks to AI-driven translation. Their texts describe humanity as engineered, not born, a being designed, not discovered. In a series of deeply technical passages, long considered symbolic, the AI identified consistent terms for mixing, binding, and infusing. These weren't rituals, they were procedures. The Anunnaki, sky-origin beings, are said to have taken the essence of the gods and mixed it with the clay of the earth, forming a new intelligent species, humans. They weren't created for beauty, worship, or love. They were made to serve. The tablets say plainly, "They shall bear the burden. Let them toil in the fields. Let them build our cities." I clarified that essence referred not to spirit, but to something inheritable. It rendered the creation act not divine in the poetic sense, but biological, perhaps even genetic. Language, intelligence, creativity, they were not slow developments, but gifts, introduced suddenly. What was once dismissed as myth now reads more like a memory of intervention, a deliberate transformation of life on Earth. The oldest stories don't describe evolution. They describe design. And those who designed us? The next section reveals more about the Anunnaki and why their roles may not be what we thought.